Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter, and welcome to Goldilocks Global Banking News. I'm your host. Folks, now we have heard about the reforms that Vietnam has implemented that will strengthen the Vietnamese dong. We have heard and we have seen this proof. We have heard and we have seen that Vietnam is most likely to be upgraded to an emerging market by the FTSE Russell. This month, September, is the review. The announcement will be on October the 7th. That will have a profound effect on the value of the Vietnamese dong, short, medium, and long term. Now, here we have Vietnam announcing another new reform. Folks, when it comes to reforms, reforms take a legal vote in the political offices, such as our Congress, Senate, so forth and so on, and they become law. Now let's jump right into what Vietnam is announcing as far as reforms. The Vietnam arbitration law reform, particularly the 2010, that's just a number, law on commercial arbitration and subsequent updates, has significant implications for foreign counsels, meaning attorneys for companies, as it aligns Vietnam's arbitration framework with international standards. And folks, this also has an indirect effect on the Vietnamese dong. Stay tuned. I will explain. Goldilocks is stating that there are 7 reasons why foreign attorneys cannot ignore these reforms now that Vietnam has just upgraded. And Goldilocks follows up with the analysis for their potential impact on foreign currency exchange rates. That's right. These 7 points have a potential impact on the Vietnamese dong exchange rate as a result of this reform. See, folks, there are many different mechanisms and dynamics that goes into the strengthening the foundation for any currency in order to appreciate in value. The tariffs that President Trump just imposed on all these various countries, as we've stated, everything is connected to everything. They are already beginning to have an impact on foreign currency exchange rates. The volatility, meaning the shock to the currency rates and values, are beginning to happen, and the international firms are beginning to take notice, and they're sending newsletters and sharing this information with many of our members. Now let's get to this 7 points that Goldilocks is sharing. Number 1, with this new reform for legal representation arbitration laws, let's talk about them. Number 1, this aligns Vietnam's legal framework with international standards of law. So therefore, any country, whether it's the United States, whether it's Iraq, whether it's Russia, whether it's Canada, you name it, Let's say if it's a private investment firm, they do business with Vietnam. Now, the legal framework that Vietnam has just implemented, these reforms, align with international standards. Therefore, this gives more confidence to international investors to do business with Vietnam, knowing if there is any sort of legal ramifications, any sort of legal structures that need to be implemented, any legal proceedings, Vietnam now aligns with international standards. Therefore, the risk of doing business in Vietnam has just been minimized. Number 2, streamline enforcement of foreign arbitral awards. So the arbitrary of legal proceedings. For some of you that have been in some divorce proceedings, you heard of an arbitrator. Number 3, creation of international financial centers. These international financial centers Vietnam is actually building have already begun to start construction in 2 of their major cities. These are hubs for foreign investors to come into Vietnam to build business. Folks, all of this will have a dynamic effect on the Vietnamese dong. Number 4, increased jurisdiction for non-signatories. What this means is that for someone a business owner that wants to do business in Vietnam doesn't have to live in Vietnam, doesn't have to be domiciled in Vietnam, but they can grow and build their business like Google is doing, like Amazon is doing, like Walmart. It could be an international conglomerate. Any international business that does not have to be physically located or living in Vietnam, meaning the owner, but they can set up shop in Vietnam. Number 5, support for interim relief and emergency arbitrators, meaning that someone can come right in, a legal team of international attorneys could come right in and immediately begin the proceedings of any legal matter that a country or company may have, a foreign country or company may have with Vietnam. Number 6, judicial and regulatory improvements. This is the upgrade of the regulatory and international legal framework. Number 7, growth in arbitration, care load, and complexity. What this does, this grows the electronic, the e-commerce legal issues. Impact on foreign currency exchange rates. Yes, I know we want to get to this. The impact on foreign currency exchange rates, there are 7. Number 1, increased foreign investment and capital inflows. This is whereby more investors from around the world are beginning to flock to Vietnam. If you all been paying attention, as you recall, in May, President Trump broke ground with his own company in Vietnam. Hotels, resorts, golf course, almost $2 billion. He ain't the only one. Many foreign investors are flocking to Vietnam. Folks, all of these companies will be doing business in and around the world through the hub of Vietnam and in the Vietnamese dong. All of their business and transactions will be done. Number 2 of how foreign currency exchange rates are impacted by this new reform, reduce currency speculation risk, meaning the value of the dong will become more predictable. Therefore, business for investors will become more predictable. They can forecast their earnings, knowing that the Vietnamese dong is less risky. Number 3 about foreign currency exchange rate, support for export competitiveness, meaning the exports of goods and services coming out of Vietnam becomes more competitive. Guess what those currencies will be settled in? If you said the Vietnamese dong, you got it right. Number 4, impact on foreign exchange reserves, meaning the amount of reserves that the Central Bank of Vietnam will hold. Number 5, mitigation of economic dollarization. What is the dollar? It was the big dog on campus around the world. Now it is becoming the little, the little, the little chihuahua in the park. Number 6, potential for short-term volatility. Oh, this is what we're seeing already right now. The volatility in the Vietnamese dong. There's a shakeup, a rumble in the jungle right now with the rate of the Vietnamese dong. Number 7, influence of global economic factors. Vietnam is catching attention for many countries and companies around the world, around the globe. Folks, what Goldilocks is stating is that the connection between this arbitration reform and exchange rates is indirect and mediated through investment and trade dynamics. While these reforms, folks, are likely to strengthen the Vietnamese dong in the long term by attracting foreign direct investment and stabilizing Vietnam's economy, short-term volatility is very possible due to the large capital movements or arbitration outcomes. This next sentence by Goldilocks, you must really pay attention to. It states, Vietnam's managed floating exchange rate regime, as noted by the IMF, allows the Central Bank of Vietnam to intervene with significant fluctuations in the Vietnamese dong. But accusations of currency manipulation by the U.S. Treasury years ago is still something that they're talking about. Vietnam's arbitration law. The arbitration law reform is a critical development for foreign attorneys, enhancing the legal environment for international business. Folks, just listen to all of this. Do you see all of what's involved with strengthening a currency? All of what's involved is being done right now. When an emerging market economy and its banking status, folks, are upgraded, such as the expecting result of Vietnam in about a month, the upgrade signals increasing economic strength and stability around the world, which boosts investor confidence and attracts foreign capital. This increased demand in the Vietnamese dong for countries' currencies and the foreign exchange rate drives the exchange rate up. How emerging market upgrades lead to currency appreciation? These are the ways. Improved economic stability, meaning the strengthening and the stability of the Vietnamese dong. For years, 50 years plus, it's been shaky and flaky. An increased emerging market status will increase capital inflows, meaning more investors will continue to flock into Vietnam, both physically and electronically through electronic trading platforms and the stock market, all done electronically. Higher interest rates. Central banks in emerging markets may raise their interest rates to manage inflation. As a result, the dong can go up. Positive market sentiment as well. Upgrades create a positive buzz or market sentiment around the economy, leading further speculation and investment. The speculative activity can fuel the currency's appreciation. Yes, the speculative activity can fuel the dong's appreciation. Sometimes this is done even before the full effects of the upgrade are felt. Float on. When a country's financial status improves, the perceived risks of that foreign currency, such as the dong, those risks begin to decrease. Investors begin to increase along with the value because they begin to flock into that country's currency. In this case, the Vietnamese dong. This strengthens the dong as investors become less concerned about potential risk and default because they have more confidence in the currency. Goldilocks is stating, and this is a quote from an article that Goldilocks will share next week. The quote says this, quote, foreign exchange rate liberalization is possible to a limited extent as part of Vietnam's push for emerging market status by September 2025, particularly to meet FTSE Russell's requirements, end quote. Folks, hold on to your dome and hold on strong. We love you, beautiful folks. Be well. Ciao. Hello, beautiful people. This is Freedom Fighter. Thank you for tuning into our channel, Goldilocks Global Banking News. Everybody knows that Goldilocks is the #1 source for the RVGCR. People from around the world tune in to see what Goldilocks is sharing on the RVGCR. Don't miss your chance and get your latest updates every day. So like, share, and subscribe to this channel to get your daily podcast from the Goldilocks articles on the RVGCR. Brought to you by Freedom Fighter.